Hello, how's everyone doing this morning or afternoon? If you're back east, it's around 1. And if you are out in California, Pacific, it is 10. So, morning or afternoon, I am mid-morning here in Salem, Utah. My name is Chelsea Evans, and I am the owner and artist on Apple Blossom Way. And I am going to show you something that I am excited about doing today. I feel like I say that every time, but every time's a little bit different. And I'm trying something new today, so that will be fun. I'm going to be using the A1 tissue papers, the newly released ones from Redesign with Prima, and I need you guys to help me out because I can't decide which one to use. So if you can help a girl out and tell me which one you like, I'm going to show you what I'm doing, and then we can get started. So I'm going to show you those first so you can give your opinions, and then I'll show you all of my supplies that I have to make this project happen. So first of all, we are going to be applying the tissue paper to this old antique window. Okay, I've had this in my front room for a long time. I have kind of an industrial vibe in there that I love, and I've loved this, but we're making some changes. So this is going to go, I don't know where it's going to go yet. Maybe in my office, maybe in the bathroom, but we're gonna change it up. So there is a natural kind of wood finish with a little bit of the paint left on it. And then flip around. We got our other side. We've got some dark paint that we scraped most of it off and left some on. So hi Dan, hi Nikki. Say hi as you guys come on, please. Makes me feel like I am not alone. So I have 2 different papers we're going to be applying to this window to kind of spice it up. Now, I realize, like right now, literally, as I'm telling you this, I realize that maybe this is gonna like kind of creepy because it's gonna be like you're looking through the window at a woman. So I didn't think about that till now, but it's not, it's fine. It's gonna be beautiful. I have 2 different papers that I pulled out, and I'm going to be applying it to the glass on these windows, and I will show them to you. You guys give me your vote. I want to say number 1 or number 2. So this is the first one. This is number 1. Okay. You can see the decoupage papers are big. I mean, they're like half the size of my body, right? They're pretty big. So this is number 1. We would apply it right to our window here. Hello from Ireland. Yeah, I'm glad you're here too. So that's kind of what this one would look like. It'll have the borders in between. So number 1, vote number 1. Or, hey Roz, how's it going? Number 2, the window would have to be turned the other way. Let me set number 1 aside. Number 2 is this one. Hi Holly. Okay. This is number 2. Okay. So she's kind of wearing a fancy dress, very colorful. This is they're both very colorful. That's what I love about them. And and you can actually, the cool thing about these is you can turn them either way. So they're transparent and the ink goes through both sides. So if I wanted it to face the other way, guess what? I can flip it around. That is really, really cool. Most decoupage papers are not designed that way, or tissue papers, and this is, which is awesome. All right, so maybe number 2 is our gal to stick in our window. So 1 or 2, you guys tell me, number 1 or 2. And then we will get started. So while you guys are voting, looks like we got some number 1s going on. And I'll show you the other projects. So what you're gonna need is an old window. You can also apply this to a dresser, to any type of furniture. I'm showing it to you on a window so that we can work in a smaller space, okay? I am going to have scissors handy. I always have my scissors handy. I've got a couple Klingon brushes to apply with. Today, I'm going to be using soft matte gel. This, you can get it from Redesign with Prima. And this is what is going to be our glue that's gonna hold our tissue paper to our window. I'm going to use texture paste. So this is cool. Prima has a bunch of different texture pastes. They carried it from Finnabair in the Art Extravagance line. This is called White Sand. And I showed you one that was similar in a tube last week, but it has a texture to it, like a grit to it. And I'm gonna use it with a stencil to kind of give a raised stencil look around the edges here. And then I grabbed this stencil. This is called Distressed Wallpaper. I'm gonna hold up that part so you can see it, but it's a really pretty distressed lace, kind of vintage lace look. And I thought that would be cool to kind of add just here and there with either one of the decoupage papers. So I'm gonna show you one more time and then I'm gonna look at your votes. So number one, oh, I just love those colors. They are killer, so beautiful. Or number two, one more time. We'll look at your votes and then we will get started. Number two. And if you look close, can you guys see the rice paper? So they have texture. It's really, really pretty. All right, so let's look. Hello from South Dakota. Connie, two. Oh, we got lots of ones and twos. One. It looks like it's about a tie. Okay, cool. All right, well, I'm just seeing, let's look at placement then. Because it looks like you guys like both of them. She would fit in the middle there. And that would be really beautiful. I feel like we probably need to do the other side of our mirror, or I'm sorry, our window. Two, hello from Italy. And if we do her, how is she gonna fit? Oh, see, she'd fit really nicely too. Okay, well, let's flip it over. I think we need to use the darker side. This side, because I feel like those colors are so rich and just really beautiful. Still got some twos and ones coming in. Hey, Erin. Okay. Ooh, I don't know, you guys. I gotta look one more time with our frame. I thought I knew for sure. I was like, this is the one I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna show both. And now I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm gonna do the other one. I'm gonna save this one for like a dresser or something, because I think that would be fun. Okay, now Roz, if you're watching, I threw away my little plastic that had this, the name of this on there. So if you guys know this, can you help me out? I'm sorry. I mean, I could have looked it up, but then you guys couldn't help me out, so. The other decoupage tissue A1 paper is called Peaceful. The one with the girl on it is called Peaceful, in case you were wondering. All right, I did put links also in this post so that you guys can see where to purchase products. Okay, so you can see my lady is a little bit bigger than my window, and I also need to cut it out to fit in here. Thank you, Roz, you're awesome. And so what I'm gonna do is I definitely want her hair to not be cut off. So we are going to use this line here. I'm gonna use my scissors. And I want the window lines to show through because I want to look like it's part of it. Now I could put it behind or in front of the glass. This one is called Harmony. Thank you, Roz. So the A1 tissue paper we're using is called Harmony. So what I'm gonna do is, I want her hand to show over here, so I'm just gonna kind of eyeball this, set this here. Now I'm going to take, I was gonna use my scissors, which I still could do, but I just have this palette knife out, and I'm just going to kind of make myself a line here so I know where to cut. You can also use, you could use a pencil or something like that, but you can leave little folds in the paper, and I like doing it that way instead of drawing on it, because I feel like if I need to cut it a little bigger or smaller and I get the lines that I pressed into it, I can smooth them out. But if I use a pencil or pen, that line is gonna be there and probably more difficult to get out. Okay, so I'm gonna cut that right there. And right across my fold lines that I made. Doesn't have to be totally perfect. Cut right down here. Okay. Now I want her to match up, okay? So I'll put it here. Now, what I'm going to do, and this is the same way I do this on drawers, so if you picture this as a dresser, this is the way I would do it on drawers, is I would take what I cut, my cut line, and I would then put that at the start of the top of the next drawer. In this case, it's the top of the next panel, instead of pulling it up and cutting off that gap where this wood piece comes through. If that makes sense. If that's confusing, you can ask me, but I do that so it looks more continuous, and the eye is going to fill in the gaps if it has a space in between it. So that's why I do it that way. Also, I do it that way because I don't need to use all of that paper, and so I'm gonna have extra at the bottom, and I can save it. This is a cool, colorful pattern down there, and I can save that and put that little strip on something else. So that's reason number 2 I do that. Okay, so same thing right here. I'm just gonna take my fancy little well-used spatula, hold it down right here at the top, and then I'm just gonna press my lines, and we will trim it. Now, if you're not exactly sure if you're right on, it's better to cut a little over those edge lines than to cut right on. That way, if you make a mistake, you're cutting it a little bit bigger than too small. Although if you do cut it too small, don't worry about it. You can take some paint as soon as it dries, and you can kind of blend in those edges with, you know, this is a pretty dark tissue paper, so I would probably use, you know, like maybe a navy or a black walnut glaze or something to kind of camouflage those edges. Right down about there. Perfect. And then on our bottom panel. And then we can look at it together and we can decide if we're gonna put it behind the glass or on top of the glass. I think either one would be really cool. Okay. And I'll leave my little strips long because, like I said, I can use those for something else. Put that about in the same place. And this is our last panel to measure out. Most of the time I know what I'm gonna do for my project. Maybe it's something I'm already working on, and I'll do a live based on that. I did not know for sure what I was gonna do this time. And I sat there and I thought, I don't have any furniture quite ready. We've been doing some big projects at our house, so I didn't have anything ready. And I remembered I had this cool window. And I thought, you know, a lot of people probably do have those old windows. You know, they put a wreath on them or something like that. So I thought maybe this is something people can relate to and that they could try out. And if not, then the same principles would apply to drawer faces. So I thought it's kind of like kill 2 birds with 1 stone. All right, so cut down this edge here. Okay, cool. Now I have all what I need, and then I have all of this extra. So don't toss it, save it. You never know if you need something, if you have like a small project you're working on. This would be really cool if you had, like who does birthday cards or makes little cards for friends or family? It would be fun to save these, and you could use these colorful little pieces on parts of a card or something. That would be really pretty. You can make little flowers. People make cool flowers out of tissue paper. That would be also beautiful. So set it aside and save that. And use it on something else. Okay, So we have it laid out. Oh, that is gonna be awesome. Okay, so you guys, now here's our next decision we gotta make together. Are we gonna put it on top of the glass, or let's see if we put it behind? Now this is old glass. It's not perfect. It's got some painted edges. That's behind the glass. I kind of like it behind. I think we should do it behind. And then if I did want to put it in the bathroom, if I do decide to hang it there, then it will be protected behind the glass and I can clean the glass. Otherwise it'd be more difficult to clean up my sealed decoupage. So let's make sure we put her in order. Unless you want to do a Picasso, then you don't have to do that. Okay, and let's flip this baby over. Oh, that's heavy. I don't want to break it. Okay, and now we are going to use our 3D matte gel. It's not called 3D matte gel, it's called soft matte gel. I just made up that first part. Soft matte gel. Now, I haven't used this before, so we're gonna use this together. I do know that some of the other ambassadors and artists use this to apply the rice papers, so we're gonna do it. Now, I'll tell you what it says on the back. It's transparent, flexible, permanent, and it's acrylic medium with a matte finish. So what does that mean? It's water-based. I can apply it with a paintbrush. I can use my Klingon brushes that I use for other things and wash them off afterwards. It's going to dry clear and it's going to have a matte finish. So it's not gonna have any shine, which is great because I don't want a satin finish and a glass sheen, reflection, right? So it's nice, it has a little sealant up top and you can see it's a gel, so it's not runny, which generally means that you have more work time. When it's thinner, it usually dries much faster. The thicker it is, it takes longer to dry, so we're gonna have a little more time to work with, okay? All right, so we are going to take our Klingon brush. We're going to pull our hair back because we don't want to matte gel our hair. I mean, who saw the Gorilla Glue hair? We don't want that. We don't want to do that. Okay, so I'm just gonna put enough on my brush. You can see it is white, but it dries clear. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply it right to my glass. And I wanna just make sure that it's applied evenly and liberally, but not super thick, okay? You wanna make sure it's applied evenly. That way your tissue paper will stick and adhere all over. It will help to reduce wrinkles and bubbles as well. So I'll just pull my brush across. You notice how I went both ways. I cross-hatched just to make sure that I've covered the entire surface. And I just want straight lines in case I do get any little bit of the gel showing. Then I have cool straight texture lines and I don't have a bunch of different shapes. So we are going to take, this is backwards, this is forward, so we could do either way. I'm going to put it face down like this because the color's a little more intense on this and the glass is already going to kind of subdue that a little bit. Hey Amy, how's it going? And we are going to, I'm gonna kind of just carefully fold it like this, and I'm gonna put my edges down first, the top edge. And I'm just using my hand. I'm sorry if you can't see this really well right here. I'll be moving down and you'll be able to. I'm just using my finger and I'm just kind of slowly working my way down. And that is gonna help reduce any air bubbles or wrinkles, things like that. And it's also gonna help me that if I kind of need to reposition just slightly, I'm not gonna tear my paper and I'm gonna get a good, nice, even adhesion with it. I want this to be pretty smooth. Most pieces I like texture, so I don't mind if it wrinkles. But on this one, I think it's got enough the way it is. So we'll just kind of be gentle with it. And okay, I've got that on there. And you notice I'm kind of going from the middle and I'm working my way to these edges here. That will also help with wrinkles and things like that. All right, so now that I've got that all on there, I'm gonna show you guys one thing. Now, it's a little bit bigger than my glass, okay? So if you look closely, you can see I have, well, I kind of folded it down, but it goes out a little bit. It's not totally flush with the glass there, so I can kind of tuck that with my finger for now. When it dries, I can take and make sure it's dry. Don't do this until it's totally dry or you will tear your paper. I'm gonna take an X-Acto knife and I can go right across that little edge there, and then that is gonna slice my overhang that I got. I'm not too worried about it on this project because you can't really see it, but if you're doing it on drawers or other things that you can see, that is a tip that you can use. So make sure it's totally dry, and then you can X-Acto knife it. Okay, so let's do the other two panels. We're gonna flip it over, and because we don't have anything drying on the other side, we can apply our stencil. And then I'll be showing you guys two techniques in one video with some different projects, and hopefully you guys can try out something new if you haven't, or maybe try out a different idea with something you've already used. Okay, so the same thing, I'm just gonna apply it both ways, pull my brush straight across so all of my strokes go in the same way if they happen to show. And I'll also show you how thick that's applied. So you can see, you can still kind of see through it. It's not super thick, but it is even and consistent. And also, if you guys have questions, feel free to ask. Sometimes I get going and I don't answer, so I'll just double check. Okay, so far we just got smileys and highs. I'm good with that. All right, make sure we're using the same side because this is more intense, and that it's the right part of the puzzle. Slightly fold it over, and you know what? Actually, you guys, I'm gonna turn this sideways because I already did the demo straight on. So if I turn it sideways, then maybe you guys can see a little bit different angle, and that might be more helpful for you. So let's do that. And I'll apply it the same way. I'll just apply it sideways. Okay, so yes, that's correct. Okay, so fold it over and start with my top edge. And same thing, start from the middle, slowly work over to the edges. The cool thing about this too is, you know, I can look at it when it's done and see how I like it. But if I really want it to pop, because I'm on a transparent surface, a glass, I could put a little light behind it and it would glow, kind of glow, which I think would be really pretty. You could even get those little lights, probably seen them, you can get them on Amazon or whatnot. They're little battery powered ones, and you could probably stick one that shines down right behind it and get that same effect. I just bought a pack of like 6 of them, and I think it was like $18. I had 2 different remotes so I could use them in different areas of my home. So you could put a couple of them if you wanted a lighted, kind of light it up. That would be really beautiful. For those of you who have storefronts, something like this would be really cool to put in your storefront window and have a little light behind it. That way if people walk by in the evenings, they can see this beautiful artwork, and you could have something written next to it to tell people, you know, like you can make one too, and you could have a kit for them or something. I think that would be really neat. Okay, all right, so we got 2 down, looking good. Let's do the 3rd one, then we'll flip it over and we will add our stencil over top. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I have, I am gonna be the Gorilla Glue lady. Why did I do that? It was on my finger. Well, stay tuned to find out how well that washes out of hair. You're welcome. You don't have to try it at home, I just tried it for you. You know, I've gotten a lot of things in my hair and most times they come out. So I feel like it's acrylic base, so it's gonna come out okay. That's fun, it's so fun. Okay, all right. So let's get, same thing, pull our strokes all the way across. Watch, it doesn't dry clear and it's all white on the other side, you can't see it. Well, then we'd use this side, wouldn't we? I'm just kidding, it does. Okay, now we gotta match her up. Which way does she go? Well, that's it, okay. So bright side down. Right? Yeah, okay. Same thing, fold it over. Oh guys, I can't see. I can't reach, I should say. This is, okay. I guess I have short arms. One of my friends always told me that every time we'd go to take a selfie, she'd say, "Oh, give me the camera, your arms are too short. You make our faces look chubby." Okay, good question. First question, where do I buy the rice paper? So I did leave 2 different links in the top of this live. The first one is to find a local retailer near you, so you can check that out and you can go snatch one up from them. Or you can check out my link, my affiliate link, and you can purchase it there. And let's see. I had another question. Do we need another coat once the paper is on? Yes, okay. So here is my rule of thumb. For this, I probably don't have to do another coat. I mean, this is the back. This is going to be most likely against a wall or close to it. So I probably will be okay leaving it without a coat over the top of it. However, if you are putting this on a dresser or something that is going to be touched and handled, then yes, you do need another coat over the top of it. I recommend waiting until the undercoat is completely dry. It does take some time, so typically if I'm doing something like this, I will apply it in the evening, go to bed, and in the morning when I wake up, I can apply the coat over top because it's dry. The reason I don't do it when it's wet with this specific paper is because it will tear. It can tear or it can crumble. If I sit there and rub it, like it's gonna tear and crumble on me. So that's as much as I wanna work with it now. If you're using the other decoupage papers that Redesign with Prima makes, it's kind of a mesh material that's different, so you can go ahead and apply your coat right over top right away. With this, I'm going to wait if I apply one over the top. If you're applying it to a dresser, like I said, then you wait till the morning and you will definitely want to apply another coat. You can either apply another coat of this 3D matte gel over the top of it, or if you work with a water-based product such as a varnish, I use Wise Owl varnish all the time for the same thing, then when that's dry, you can also apply that as your top coat. And I know there was another question, so I'm just gonna check. Oh, yep, I've had I had my paint sprayer explode one time, but I had my safety goggles on. They saved my eyes, but my hair was covered in paint. My hairdresser found it for a couple appointments after. Okay, yes, this is the new A1 tissue paper. Okay, let's flip it over. Erin's ready. She's like, let's do this. Okay, all right, so. Boop. Oh yeah, you guys can see my ring light. What? Okay, that is so cool. Look at it. Okay, that's creepy. That's getting creepy. I'll take a picture and show you guys. That is so cool. It turned out better than I thought it would too. Okay, so if you look real close, you can kind of see some of the lines from the gloss gel, or I'm sorry, the matte gel that I put down. It's not totally dry, so it's gonna dry clear. But that is the reason why I did those straight lines, just in case any show. But give it time and it's gonna dry. Now, we're gonna let this sit and not mess with the other side. We're gonna pull out our stencil. Do you guys love it? Isn't it pretty? And all of the new papers, you could create so many different artworks. The horse is beautiful. The other one I showed you, you know, so get creative and do something cool with it, like this. Go find old windows. A lot of times when people tear down old houses, they will, sometimes you can find them giving away old windows or selling them for $5, $10, $15, sometimes 20. And so snatch them up. Even if the glass is broken on it, You could put some boards right behind and you could decoupage it on the boards and seal the front of it, and it would give a similar look. You just wouldn't have the glass over top. So keep that in mind. Thanks, Patricia. I'm just glad it worked out. Okay, so good question. Can we use Mod Podge instead? Yes, you can. I don't love Mod Podge. It's not my favorite thing to use. And I don't love the way it seals things over the top. So I tend to not use it. I do like the soft matte gel I just used. It was really easy to work with and it doesn't dry super fast. So it gives me a little bit of time to lay down the product, which is nice. So I would recommend that or the Wisal varnish, which you can find on my website, appleblossomway.com. And the distressed wallpaper stencil, yeah, it is very, and I love the size of it. I love how it's big enough, and I love how it just has those distressed edges on it. So we're just gonna use parts of it. You can use the lace parts. There's some florals in there. Lots of yummy goodness. And we can put that over our glass. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So it's gonna give it a layered 3D look, okay? We're gonna use this texture paste. I actually haven't used this with the stencil yet, so let's see how that goes. I do typically use the 3D fiber paste, or I mix my paint with salt wash. But I haven't used this with stencil, so let's try it. See how it goes. If worse comes to worse, we can wipe it off the glass, right? Before it dries. Okay. And so when I use a stencil, I always have scissors handy. I try not to cut my stencils, but occasionally I might cut it in half, depending on the project I'm doing, and if I'm okay with having it that way forever. If not, then I just make it work. So I just have them there just in case. And I always have tape when I use the stencil. Just some frog tape, painter's tape is great. It will make it easy. Oh, I can feel that. It was only a tiny bit. I could feel it in my hair. Okay. All right, so let's kind of place this. I don't want to overwhelm it. It's really beautiful as is. I'm just going to add maybe just a tiny bit down here in the corner. And I'm kind of thinking, let's see if we kind of just, okay, let's kind of do that. Okay, so I'm going to put it here. Can you guys see this okay? And I'm going to just barely hit the bottom of the wood with this cool boho lace design, and I'm gonna hit a little bit of the flower over top of our mirror. And so you can use a brush. Because it's a texture paste, I'm gonna use this. This is not a palette knife. This is actually like a butter kitchen serving knife, but I couldn't find my other palette knife. And obviously I use it for painting and texturing, so it's okay. Okay, so typically when I use a texture medium, I'm gonna use about that much. And I am gonna take my tape and just kind of tape my design, because this is a large piece and I'm kind of moving around a lot. I'm just going to kind of tape it on there a little bit. Tape it down against the glass as well, so it will kind of pull down. Get the space it needs right there. Hi, Ty. He's just getting up, and I think he just realized I'm doing a live. You're okay, Ty. Everyone's super nice on here. All right, and because I'm just gonna use this part and I really want it to stay down, I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of take right through the stencil right here. Oh, to kind of help just hold it down a little bit more. I'll have to use my hands. I don't know how well this idea is working. It felt like in theory it might work, but I don't know if that's really, we'll just hold it down. Oh yeah, and also don't do this. Don't tape right on the stencil, because there are delicate parts here and you could tear them off. So there you go, lesson number 300 of what not to do. Don't tape right over it, because you could tear it. All right, let's just go for it. Okay, so I've got my paste on there. I'm gonna start, where do I wanna start? I'm gonna start here. Okay, And then I'm just gonna hold it down with my fingers. Ooh, you can hear that. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I can hear it. It's like the sand in it. Yep, that's definitely sand. Ooh. And just a fun fact, all of the stencils have Redesign with Prima's logo at the bottom of them. If you put your stencil paste on it, you will have Redesign with Prima logo on your furniture as well. That's fun. Okay, so we're just gonna kind of, now this takes a while to dry. So after I pull it off, if there's anything I don't love, I can take a wet paper towel and I can wipe it off. This texture paste takes definitely some time to dry. Whereas if you're using a thinner paint, it might dry really fast and you might not have the opportunity. So that's something that's nice about using textured products, okay? So we'll leave that there, and then I'm just gonna add a little bit on our glass. Yeah, I think this will be okay placement. And I'm gonna hold it down really carefully with my hand. And I'm just going to lightly stick it over the top of this floral design. It'll give us a cool layered look. And hopefully this texture paste is gonna fill in the design nice. I think it's a cool texture paste, and that's why I wanted to try it with a stencil. I really like it. This stuff is really rad on vases. If you guys check out vases, like if you just take a day and go to, you know, Hobby Lobby or the at-home store or something like that, just browse for a minute and get ideas, because a lot of their vases have just really cool, they're super simple, but they have a neat texture to them, and maybe a little bit of color. And so just go and browse and just get inspired, and then use your texture pastes and things to go home and update your old vases, things like that. This will be interesting to see how this does. The 3D fiber paste is pretty crisp and that, so I kind of like the color of this too. It's not bright white. So we're gonna pull that off. Ooh, that's cool. Let's set it aside. And let's take a look. So now we have a little bit of lace, just a little bit of a flower there to kind of give it just some dimension. And I don't want to take away from my painting. So if I add any more, I might add just a tiny little, like a little bit of a vine there, and maybe just a little bit that's worn on the edge of my frame, because I really want the focus to be on her and not on the raised stencil. But I like adding the raised stencil because I feel like it adds age to the piece. And so when you are finding, you know, antique things or items that are hundreds of years old, they have chipped away paint and they have layers, and you know, they might have something like this that was added 150 years later or something. And so I kind of like to mimic and create that in artwork, and then it kind of makes it my own, and it's not just someone else's artwork, so you can customize it that way. So there you have it. We have our lady in a window. That's what we'll name her for now. And you guys go and create something. Go find some old windows or something cool you can do with it, because these papers are off the hook amazing, absolutely beautiful, and I cannot wait to put this somewhere in my house. So hope you guys have a wonderful day. I do teach several classes. You can find them on appleblossomway.com, and check out the links above to get yourself started. Okay, have a beautiful, wonderful week. See ya.